My name is Alan Miles and I am the owner of Team Miles Coaching. We are a coaching, lead generation and sales closing service provider for online coaches and consultants across the world. I want to talk to you today about how to create opportunity volume. And I want to talk to you about how to do this organically and how we've been doing this for ourselves and for our clients, generating 200, 300, 400 appointments per month with zero ad spend. Over the past 8 years, I've built 3 successful businesses, all in different industries. I've built a 7-figure recruitment business, a successful online fitness coaching business, and a 7-figure service-based business, all using our proprietary system that I'm going to share with you today. If I rewind the clock 11 years, life was a very, very different place for me. And I'll be honest with you, I was alone, I was quite scared, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on, because I think it's very, very important, especially in the way the world is right now. But I want to first of all get you some information around the 4 C's system. So over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share with you the 4 C's, and this is the organic opportunity volume system that we have been using to create hundreds of appointments for ourselves and for our clients. And this is one of the fundamental cogs in our organic lead generation machine that I really want to share with you. So what is the 4 C's? The first C stands for content engagement. Now, everyone understands the importance of putting valuable content out into the marketplace. And I think for the most part, a lot of people engage with people who are commenting on their content. But we can take that further. So that's a fantastic step and it can lead to good conversations. However, a lot of people seem to put very closed responses, just saying thanks. Like, these are conversation starters. These are opportunities to start conversations with people, which in turn starts to widen your opportunity volume. Because an opportunity volume, by its mere nature, is how many opportunities, like what is the volume of opportunities that you have to start the sales cycle. That doesn't mean make a sale. That doesn't mean sell to somebody. It means start the sales process. The sales process should always start with value, and it should start with education, and it should start with building a relationship with somebody, not immediately asking to swipe their credit card. And I think this is something where people sometimes try and rush that part of the process. So content engagement is starting or creating opportunities through comments, through the people who like your content, but also the people who watch your content, whether this be your videos, your stories, any content, any way anyone is engaging with your content. That is one area that you can start to engage with people. The next one is contact engagement. So we build our friends lists. Everyone builds their friends lists. Everyone wants to be over 10,000 followers on Instagram so they can use the swipe up feature. Everyone is impressed when they see somebody with 100,000 followers or 1 million followers. But what are you doing with your followers? Like, are you just collecting them like trading cards? These are a fantastic, fantastic opportunity to connect. Facebook even encourages you to connect with these people. Tells you when their birthday is. It tells you when they're online. When was the last time that you engaged with them? When was the last time that you said hi? When was the last time you checked in on how they are doing with their business or life or their fitness or their family? It's really important for us to create engagement with our contacts, because if we can create engagement, that gives us further opportunities, but it also then gets our content in front of them and drives content engagement. Once we've done that, we've got content engagement, we've got contact engagement, now we've got community engagement. That's the third C. So what do I mean by community? Well, our own groups, other people's groups, hashtags that we've created. Like, this is our opportunity to give back to our community. So often online, people forget what the benefit and the purpose of a community is. It's to surround yourself with people who have a like-minded viewpoint, or maybe sometimes a contrasting viewpoint, but either way, it's to create community spirit, it's to create engagement, it's to add value, it's to help people. It's not to sell, which is why you get removed from groups if you try and aggressively sell. It's why if you have your own group on Facebook, If you have no real community spirit in your group, take a look at the content you're putting in there. Are you just constantly selling? Are you just constantly trying to get people into a paid program? Or are you focused on value? Because if you focus on giving value and you focus on engaging with followers, whether they're yours or somebody else's, this drives connection. This drives engagement, which in turn turns them into contacts, which in turn gets your content in front of them. If you're unsure of what to do in a community that you don't own, ask the owner. Ask the admin of a group, how can I help your community? What would you like to see in your community? How can I be of service to you in your community? Because it's no different to the outside world. The internet and social media platforms are a representation of the real world. So if we just treat them like we would treat the real world, how do you give back to your current community where you live? How do you give back to the community that you work in? Your church, your business group, your sports team, your kids' sports team, the school that your children go to. Like, how do you engage with those communities? Because you can emulate that engagement with online communities. And as I say, that online community engagement leads to them becoming contacts, which means you can engage with them as contacts, but then it also gets your content in front of them and means you can get content engagement. The final one is cold engagement. Now, this is like the Arctic Circle of all engagement. It's the one that is the most thankless, but it is one that is actually quite important. By bringing cold people into your environment, and by cold, I mean they don't know who you are, this allows you to widen your audience at a much faster rate. So community engagement is a version of cold engagement, but you already have a common interest and you know that you have a common interest. Cold are people who don't know who you are and they're going to take time to warm up. And this is really important that we understand that the way in which human psychology works, it's going to take several attempts before they reach out to you because they don't know you, they don't like you, and they don't trust you. So by the time they start to get 4, 5, or 6 contact attempts, so you're reaching out to a cold prospect, at that point, they start engaging. Once they start engaging, that's when they're going to start to speak to you. If you can focus on giving them value, well, now they're going to potentially like you a little bit more. And if that value that you give them, if that value actually helps to move them forward towards something or solves a problem that they've had, well, now they start to trust you. This is when they're either going to become part of your communities, or at the very least, they're going to be a contact that you're now going to be able to have a conversation with, which means you're going to get your content in front of them, which is going to continue to build that know, like, and trust and allow you to start this whole process. It's a really simple process. The 4 C's are very, very simple, but they are things that need to be executed daily. If these tasks can be executed daily, then this will lead to long-term and short-term rapid growth and success. We have used this to scale a 7-figure business and 6-figure businesses and 5-figure businesses. It really comes down to how much effort and time you put into this process will in turn generate the result. No different to using ads. The success of the ads comes down to the size of the budget as well as the targeting. It isn't simply a case of just spend a tiny bit of money and get loads of success. Like, it's all relative. We're not going to be spending money here, but we're going to be spending some time. I've put together a special training that if you are unsure what time allocation you should be giving to these processes and you're not sure how to fit them into your current business, specifically for the TED audience, I have put together a really short training that is free just for you guys. If you would like to implement the 4 C's process into your business, I've created a step-by-step process that allows you to be able to implement the 4 C's, like how much time to allocate to it, what results you should be aiming for, what volume you should be doing to be able to generate that result. A real transparent step-by-step approach. If you visit alanmiles.com/TED, that's Alan Miles, so ALLANMILES.com/TED. That'll give you your free download to be able to implement this strategy into your business and start creating tons of organic engagement, which in turn leads to appointments. And just to finish, I just want to finish with a final story and kind of go back to what I had started talking about at the very beginning. So if I rewind the clock 11 years, it takes me back to the moment that I lost my mum. And it was a very difficult moment. Like this moment, it literally shook me to my core. And I'd grown up with just my mum because my dad died at a very young age. I was not even 5 years old. And I'd spent most of my inheritance by this point, I'll be honest. I'd made a few bad mistakes with money, a few general bad mistakes in life. I'd stopped working on my first business because I just felt done. And to be able to continue to fund my life, I'd now sold all of my belongings. So I was sat there scared. I was alone. I had 2 young children that I was trying to take care of. And I had debt starting to pile up. I did not have a plan. I did not know what to do. And I see a lot of people who are in a not too dissimilar place right now. In a post-COVID world, I think there are a lot of people who are unsure how to get back on their feet in a way that allows them to thrive. Because everything's changed. Some people have lost a loved one. Some people have lost their business. And these things were taken away. They weren't expected. They weren't coming. It just happened. But I want you to understand that you aren't alone. And I do genuinely understand where you're at. The key to me being able to get back on my feet and not only to be able to build 3 successful businesses after that moment, but more importantly, build a beautiful family and a beautiful life with my wife and our 5 wonderful children, was the fact that I took consistent action. Consistent action to move forward every day. Now, I just want to clarify, I wasn't setting world records. I wasn't taking these massive chunks of action every single day. I wasn't setting the world on fire. I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not Kobe Bryant. I'm not Tom Brady. But every single day, I was making forward progress. And I was unreasonable with my action. I always found a way to take at least 1 step forward in one part of my life every single day. And I celebrated it. And I recognized the success. And then I systemized it so that I could repeat it. And so that I could show other people how to repeat it. So that I could focus on the things that were important to moving my life forward. Because life is not a sprint. Life is a journey. And the key is to find the purpose that fills you with joy. And then use a system that allows you to consistently achieve it. I hope that you find that the 4 C's principle valuable, and I hope and I look forward to seeing you implementing it into your own business by visiting alanmiles.com/TED.